And we are live. There it is. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 732. Today is Tuesday, June 1st, 2021. I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. And today is a 10ish day, as you all can see. Bitcoin Day is not with me, so I am figuring this out on the go. But today we have a very special guest with us that I'll introduce in just a moment. Of course, wanted to go ahead and talk about these top stories of the day. Coinbase debit card now works with Apple Pay. Coincheck crypto exchange announces Japan's first ever IEO. And Druckenmiller is back in the news. Ethereum is MySpace before Facebook, while Bitcoin won as Google. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and take a look at these prices. I know a lot of people saw some good sideways movement for volatility over the weekend for some good trades. Bitcoin is kind of where we left it off last week, $37,195, up 1.49% on the 24-hour clock. Ethereum is up 3.84% at $2,633. Cardano at number 4 is at $1.74, up 5.72% on the speculative nature of what comes next, right? Binance Coin, big discount here. $356, up 4.61%. Of course, you can still see Dogecoin is in there. Polkadot and Uniswap has finally pushed out ICP Internet Computer out of the top 10. Again, I still don't know who or what Internet Computer is or what they do, but they're in number 11 on CoinMarketCap, so they must be doing something right. All right, with all that, folks, without further ado, I definitely want to introduce our special guest of the day, co-founder and CIO of a project we actually just recently reviewed, DIVI project. I saw some of your comments under the video. Some of you liked it, loved it. Some of you hated it. Regardless, we have this CIO and the co-founder, Nick. I don't want to jack this up. I always mess up last names. Saponaro here today to tell us all about the DIVI project. Thank you, Nick, for being here today with us.
Thank you for having me, man. And great job with the last name. That was impressive.
We got close. Listen, trust me.
That was right on.
I mispronounce bananas on the show sometimes, so it's all around. Of course, first question I have to ask you, I know everyone wants to know, you're the CIO, the co-founder of DIVI, but the most important question is when and how did you get into crypto?
I got into crypto toward the end of 2014, early 2015. I had a buddy who introduced me to Ethereum, actually. Told me I have to get into it. He had gotten into it super early, like 30 cents or something like that. By the time he told me about it, I think it was 80 cents or maybe $1. I actually met this guy at a mall in the food court, and I bought some Bitcoin off of him in person. And he taught me how to, back up my seed phrase. He showed me how to download my first wallet and everything like that. And he sold me Bitcoin. He had this huge hunking computer that he pulled out of his backpack and sent me the coins. And he gravely warned me, like, do not buy Ethereum, which of course I ignored that.
Oh, but everybody, I forget that. That's OG. Everybody used to hate Ethereum.
Yeah. It was like the first, all the maximalists were anti-Ethereum initially. Some are still, right? But yeah, so ever since then, I've of course was speculating on it for a while. Actually kind of got out of it for a while after the DAO hack, which I suffered a loss from, but came back later as a developer. And as I started learning more about the actual technology, that's what pulled me back into the industry and ultimately led me to co-found the DIVI project.
And so your background, you have a developer background as well?
I do. I was freelancing for about 7 years. Had a couple jobs at shops, at real development shops, but mostly freelancing. I like to do my own thing. Went back to school in 2017 to get fully certified as a software developer. And in 2017, I was hired into the DIVI project, actually as a freelancer initially, but ultimately became one of the co-founders.
Oh, we definitely got to talk more about that then. All right, let me give some quick shout outs and we'll jump to this first story first. What's going on, Lyle Gibson, Chemo in Crypto, Lyle, Sergeant Mac, Dallas Pipes, Pete Digital, Patrick Walter, K Scott, Wendy Nichols, Brandon G, JBSE, Fanteezy, Easy Double. Good morning, everyone. Les Square, I see you. Good morning, everyone in the chat box. Love to see it. We jumped off with 110 viewers already, so let's keep it coming in. Make sure you smash that like and share button. And for those Chemo and Crypto, I see what you put. for the answer. It was a trick question so far, unless proven otherwise. Folks, we appreciate all the love and feedback we got on that Cliff High video last week. But if you listen carefully, Cliff High said you can email him for his reports. And I said, after he said he'll give them to us, if you subscribe to our website under the gentlemanofcrypto.com at the subscription, we would start to email those out to you, which we have already started doing. We are not sending out individual emails to 300 people who emailed me over the weekend for the Cliff High reports. That's ridiculous, people. Subscribe to the newsletter and you will get it in mass with everyone else. We can't send them all out at once because those documents are too big. So we're piecemealing them 2 per day. And then by the end of the week, we will have that zip file just in case you feel like you subscribed late. But I just want to make that announcement. It was a trick question, but hey, if somewhere in that video I did say to email me, then you will win some free Bitcoin, the first person who can put that timestamp out there and figure it out. So if I'm making a mistake, point it out and I'll make sure I email you all or the person who calls it some free Bitcoin. But I'm pretty sure I'm not making a mistake because I would never want that many people to email me like we saw this weekend. But we appreciate all the love regardless. We appreciate it with some good notes and some good stuff in there as well. All right, top story of the day. It was a slow news day, of course. The price is down. Regulators are getting tired. They're like, is Bitcoin going to die or should we still try to tax it? They don't know what to do next. They want to see if we're going to do another pump. But Coinbase is marching forward as Coinbase debit card now works with Apple Pay. That is right. Where can you spend your Bitcoin at, right? Isn't that what people always say? Every day, people is becoming easier. The integration brings the crypto exchange's rewards-heavy spending tool to the iPhones of U.S. users. You can see here, Coinbase's Visa debit card will sync with Apple Pay and Google Pay, the crypto exchange said Tuesday. Additionally, Coinbase said in a blog post, it will begin offering cashback spending reward features to waitlisters this week. This card is available across the U.S., with the exception of Hawaii. Variation already rolled out in European markets in 2019. But this is what's about to be hot in crypto. We're seeing this all across the board. Nick, what are your thoughts, I guess, from an actual business side, like a big crypto business side, and some of the things you all are doing? What are your thoughts on Coinbase? You know, will it be Bittrex next, BitMEX? What are your thoughts on these exchanges rolling out debit cards?
I think it's really important to offer this ability to spend your crypto. You know, like you said, a lot of people do come to people like ourselves and say, what's the point if I can't spend it? Or how do you buy your groceries with it, et cetera? This is that way. You know, I feel I have mixed feelings about Coinbase itself, being that it is essentially just a bank. It's not exactly adherent to the tenets that crypto stands upon. But that said, they're an incredibly important company in the space. They onboard more users than probably any other US company. So yeah, I think it's a net positive, and making it more convenient for people is obviously a huge net positive. As far as the next exchanges to roll these out, yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they all start to introduce their own? I think it'll become a really competitive space. You'll end up seeing a lot of these, you know, cashback rewards. I hope to see more Bitcoin back rewards or crypto back rewards, but this is a great step, I think, in the right direction.
So, you know, and I'm glad you mentioned it. This is actually a good segue into what you are doing. So Coinbase, as you said, it does onboard the most users. So as much as we hate it, we also have to love it because that is that big base hit in crypto. It's like, yeah, the first thing, 2 + 2. People are gonna learn 2 + 2 before they learn anything. They're probably gonna learn it at Coinbase, right? So I agree, it is a big deal. But this kind of segues into your company, I guess. So 2017, you started working with DIVI. And Divi's whole approach, again, we did a review video on this, people, and that was a sponsor review. So, you know, we said at the beginning of the video, still unbiased, which is, of course, Nick and I had a conversation. I had a chance to hear some of his thoughts. But Divi's whole point of their project is to make crypto easy. So, similar to what Coinbase is doing, but even at a further level. So go ahead and tell us, I guess, about, you know, you go to Divi, you know, you get on board the project. You know, what are you guys doing and what have you done so far and what are you looking to do next?
The whole philosophy behind Divi is, as you said, to make cryptocurrency easy, but without sacrificing the decentralized aspect of cryptocurrency. We don't feel that you have to make that compromise, where a lot of companies are making the compromise of convenience over decentralization. We feel that it's possible to have both working in tandem. So as you mentioned, in 2017, we did a token sale. In 2018, we launched our desktop wallet, which included a feature called Mochi, or the Masternode one-click cloud installer, which is actually a patent pending technology that allows you to deploy a Masternode, which is just an earnings mechanism similar to mining, except it's much more energy efficient and it's in the cloud. It does things slightly differently, and I'm happy to explain it further if you'd like. But essentially, these things were really, really difficult to set up. We decided that this is the best way to attract users to the project. If we can make it as easy as possible to earn cryptocurrency in a decentralized fashion, that's a good proof of concept for the rest of our philosophy's rollout, which enables people to, of course, continue to earn their rewards, but also engage with multiple cryptocurrencies, decentralized in the easiest possible way. So we have this really heavy focus on user experience, right? So when you onboard to our new mobile wallet, for example, which just rolled out in the United States a couple weeks ago, it's not confusing. There's no jargon when you onboard to the wallet. It's just you set up your username, you set up your avatar, etc. You can connect your email and your phone number if you so choose, or you could just use it completely anonymously as you normally would with a wallet. And then you're just in. Then we kind of start to educate the user about seed phrases and things like that. But bombarding people with a 12 or 24 word seed phrase right as you onboard, that's not,
that is a bad idea. I'll give you that. That's
yeah.
a bad idea.
I've never understood that.
Well, I get it, because people are likely to, to mess up their wallet, at least early on, people were misplacing funds and all that stuff, passwords. So I do get it, but also you're right. It's a big turnoff, because if you're not used to crypto and the first thing you get when you open the app is seed phrase, you back to Google. What's the seed phrase? And now I'm tired of this. I'm done with crypto before I got started. So you're saying you're going to eliminate those type of barriers initially.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about eliminating a lot of that friction, those points of contact with the user that turn people off. We find that with any mobile application, with any application in general, the more points of friction, the more people you lose. And most crypto apps actually lose about 40% of their users before they even onboard. That's a big problem for onboarding. We just talked about Coinbase, but even if you sign up for Coinbase, there's a lot of points of friction before you get to actually buy your first crypto. So we're just trying to resolve those issues. And of course, we did develop our protocol from the ground up to be user-friendly, but we realized that most coins aren't developed this way. So we're building client-side technology that does make those cryptocurrencies easier to engage with.
All right, so I have to ask you the $1 million question, because I know it's going to come in the chat, and if I don't ask you, they're going to jump my head. Why? And of course, it's not just exclusive to Divi, but you're here today. So why Divi instead of Bitcoin?
I don't like to do, it's not really Bitcoin versus Divi or Bitcoin versus any other coin. I think each coin does something different, right? Bitcoin initially was developed by Satoshi to be a peer-to-peer digital cash system. Ultimately, that's not what it ended up being because of some of the inefficiencies of the technology inherently. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Bitcoin. I'm a huge fan, but it's not really equipped to be a global cash system, right? It's slow. It's kind of archaic in the way that it works, and it doesn't exactly scale. Of course, there are these layer 2, layer 3 technologies that aim to scale Bitcoin, but as it is today, it operates more of a digital gold. And we've even seen the narrative completely change around Bitcoin to be more focused on a store of value versus a P2P cash system. We wanted to develop a coin that could potentially be used for currency. We've made a lot of the same changes that some other blockchains have made: larger block size, shorter block time, more coins in the ecosystem so that it's more democratized across a larger scale. As you mentioned in your review video, we haven't seen it at scale yet. We don't know exactly how it'll perform if 100 million people.
We don't blend, like no one has those, so we don't even hold that against projects, right? Like Ethereum and Bitcoin, with the exception of those two, is like
Right. Maybe we will find that out one day. But at the end of the day, we just wanted to build a system that adhered to, of course, the tenets of crypto, but also allowed people to earn, spend, and transact easily. But again, it's not Bitcoin versus Divi. Bitcoin has a lot of amazing things. Divi has a lot of amazing things. Ethereum does something completely different. It does a lot of amazing things. That's why we're building a multi-coin app. I really do believe that it won't be, one coin to rule them all, so to speak. I think that we will see a multi-coin future, just like we see different brands in every aspect, every vertical of every industry. There are multiple companies, some more dominant than others, of course, but I think that we have to build for the future. Now, we also have a focus on hybridization, right? So we believe that there has to be a transition from fiat to crypto, and it won't be this black and white change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like with cars, where we had the Prius come out, which was a hybrid car, partially electric, partially gas. Over time, we start to see more electric cars. We have the Tesla now, and even GM is rolling out dozens of electric cars. Eventually, we might not see gas cars at all, right? But we have to do this slow transition. That's why we have relationships with financial institutions that allow us to implement fiat features within our wallet while remaining decentralized on the crypto side, which I can tell you is a really challenging legal situation. But we think it's really important to help people make that switch and feel more comfortable and familiarized as they get into this new space.
I will say that, the good thing, you did make some good points as far as market share. I think that people forget about that because everyone does get excited about some of the bigger projects or whatever project they're backing at this point, because everyone has a community. What's the Divi community called? I was trying to think of a name for you all earlier.
Yeah, so we call, they call themselves the Divi Nation or Divination.
The Divi Nation. I was going to call it militia right now. It's guerrilla warfare. They hit me up in every direction. Look, you got some loyal Divi Nation members that will come for me. But no, I was going to say the good thing is when it comes to markets, because when we do talk about diversifying in general here and diversifying within the ecosystem, that is something that people have to remember, is that, hey, even if you have two projects and one, I definitely want to talk to some of our warriors about on Friday, which is Hex. I finally did a deep dive on it. What I will say is that when you do have different projects, do different things, they all have these communities. At the end of the day, it's market share, right? So no matter what we say at this point, if we say Bitcoin and Ethereum were the only two cryptos from now on, blah, 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 people still will go to different directions. That's just how markets work. So I'm with you on that. I feel like the easier you can make your app and the better looking and the more transparent you all can be, then it gives you just as much as a running shot as the next person for sure. So someone's asking right now, can the project be mined? Kevin Cummings.
So you have two ways to earn Divi. You can stake, which is as simple as just running our desktop wallet, and we'll be rolling out in the mobile wallet, looks like this month, as well as run a masternode, which is similar, but it just doesn't add blocks to the chain. It just verifies transactions, and it can be used for other things, of course. We actually have 5 different levels of masternode entry. Each one earns a little bit more than the next, about 5% more per tier. We did this so that there was always a lower entry point. With staking, you only need 10,000 Divi. With masternodes, the lowest tier is 100,000, and it goes all the way up to 10 million. And they produce, on average, it's about 19 to 20% rate of return. That, of course, changes, but you can always find that information online or in our Telegram.
Yeah, and I will say that I remember when I first was looking at the masternode, I was like, I was kind of on the fence because the price of Divi went up. But now, since it's a discount right now, if you ever did want to think about a masternode, now's the time. So a question about that. I actually looked into the masternodes. I looked into the wallet, the desktop wallet staking. When it comes to the masternodes, do you have to leave your screen open and running 24/7 on your computer?
Not with masternodes. The masternode actually, if you deploy it from our software, runs in the cloud, but you don't actually ever give up your coins or your keys. That's where this patent pending technology comes in. We're basically just broadcasting the transaction for you. You retain control of everything. You can dismantle at any time. And no, you don't have to run your computer 24/7. Now with staking, you would have to run your computer 24/7. However, with this new feature that we're going to roll out this month called staking vaults, you can actually do it right from your phone. It doesn't take any, additional battery or anything. It works similarly to the masternodes in that you retain your keys and your coins. We broadcast to the network, and it almost works in a way like delegated proof of stake, minus the fact that there's only 10 nodes or 12 nodes, whatever, 21 I think for EOS. So yeah, that's coming. But yeah, right now, if you were to stake from the desktop wallet, you would have to leave it open 24/7. And of course, you can run a node in a server or wherever else. There's plenty of services out there.
Right. That's why I was like, I'm excited about the mobile wallet, because I do want to see how it's going to look staking in the mobile wallet. Now, now for the masternodes, how much of technical expertise would a listener right now? Hey, I kind of know about masternodes. I just heard about it. I'm going to Google it. You said I don't need to have my computer open. how long would it take almost like a newbie to read about your masternodes and kind of get it set up and going?
Well, if you want to find out about them, obviously there's info on the site. The best way is just hop into the Telegram or Discord community and start asking questions. Our mods are really active and really happy to help. But once you actually get your coins and you get your Divi into your wallet, it's one click. You click a button, subscribe to the subscription, and you're off to the races. In the desktop wallet, it takes about 10 minutes. In the mobile wallet, it takes about 3 seconds.
Oh, nice. Perfect. So,
Yeah.
here's the different levels as they were talking about here. Oh, yeah, these things are on discount today. So the different tiers for the masternodes, staking here. Good stuff. So again, and I will say I applaud you all for not rushing a lot of this stuff out, for taking your time, because again, you started in 2017 toward the end, I believe, right? Is that when you all launched? So
Yeah.
you got to tell in that. And then the fact that you were able to stay in business for 2 years during the bear cycle is good. And then you came out still developing. So that's still good as well. With all that going on, when it comes to developments, let's go ahead and check out CoinCheck, crypto exchange over in Japan, as they announced their first ever IEO. Another buzzword we heard about a little bit. We thought the regulators shut it down. It looked like it is back. But the hash palette token sale on CoinCheck is set to become Japan's maiden initial exchange offering event. I cannot remember who was the first exchange trying to do this. I think here in the States before it kind of got slapped down. But initial exchange offerings, like this is the thing a lot of exchanges want to do so bad. Like either we go public or we offer up shares to this exchange. Either way it go, they want to get their money back for these bags they've been holding. Looks like according to a release issued on Monday, the Japanese crypto exchange announced that the hash palette HPT initial exchange offering will take place in the summer. IEOs are a modified form of initial coin offering where a crypto exchange platform acts as an intermediary between token issuers and investors. Again, I actually like the idea of IEOs. I mean, people think about it. Before Coinbase did an IPO, or really a direct listing, if they would have did an IEO and allowed us all to actually buy into it and find our own price discovery, I think Coinbase would have been better off as well as the users, because you had like a vested interest. The way you still see people from the Ripple Army, the Divi Nation, all these other clubs out there, the hexagons out there. When you see all these different ones, the positive thing about it is that at least they have a vested interest in all these different projects. They want to see the project to see. So seeing Coinbase on a direct do the direct listing, I mean, you have a board that's kind of looking out for people who invested, but by and large, of course, we know they are wildly overvalued and they're paying for it right now. Whereas an IEO may have made that price discovery a little bit better in the short term. But I think this is the next big thing. Like I said, IEOs are going to be a big thing here in the future. What are your thoughts on IEOs? And then also when it comes to Divi, what are you all's future plans? Are you building these platforms? I know this is a two-pronged question, for sure. What's going on with your IEOs and your thoughts? And then when it comes to Divi, are you guys building up your platform to hopefully sell it one day, or what's the long-term goals there?
So yeah, I'll address the IEO thing first. Just like with ICOs, there's good and there's bad. Probably more bad than good, but it's an interesting development. And now there's IDOs as well. I'm not sure if you've seen his initial DEX offerings.
I didn't even see that, but that's going to be crazy. It was going to be
that's pretty cool.
IDOs.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting how ICOs have over time sort of transformed, even though it's essentially, the same thing. Although IEO to me is a little strange because at least with a lot of the ICOs, when you contributed to the ICO, the coins then were generated by the smart contract. So they didn't pre-mine a bunch of coins and then sell them. Whereas an IEO, that's often how it goes. The project provides liquidity to the exchange. That is somewhat concerning, but if the project is solid and there's a good team behind it and a good actual vision for the future, then all the better. This one's very interesting though, because Japan is kind of like a black curtain for crypto. It's really, really hard to penetrate, and their crypto regulations are pretty strict. Even just getting your coin listed on Japanese exchanges requires a lot of effort, connections, and money. So to see them actually starting to do IEOs, that tells me that something's probably pretty legit there. So this could be a really interesting step toward a more, I guess, just legit IEO or ICO. So that'll be interesting to see. As far as, I'm sorry, we're going to say something?
Divvy, no, I was going to say, yep, and Divvy future plans. So are you guys doing a wallet? I don't know what we're going to call it, IWOs?
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Offering people a coin directly through your wallet. That's something that I'll have to bring up with the team.
Here we go.
Think that's a
Let's
cool
see.
idea.
I want my percent right now.
Yeah, you're in. No, but we have always had a long-term vision for this project. We knew that initially we would kind of be ignored because nobody really focused on making the user experience of crypto better. Although everybody says that, if you go to any conference or listen to a lot of YouTubers or podcasts, everyone's saying, oh, push the blockchain to the background. We have to make it easy if you want to see mass adoption. And then they start talking about this incredibly complex technology that does nothing to support what they just said. That is something that we're trying to change. But we knew that would be a long tail. Mass adoption, we're starting to see a lot more adoption, but I still don't think we'll see it for a few more years, like a critical mass of users coming into crypto, especially using it the way that it's meant to be used. We see a lot of people just kind of gambling and doing stuff now, like huge amounts of people coming from TikTok and Reddit and things like that. That's not really mass adoption.
I just found out over the weekend TikTok was a main source for crypto news. I had no clue. And
yeah, it's nuts.
Mind blown. Like the comments I was hearing, it was all those were wrong and way off. I'm like, where are you getting this information? And they said they knew it too. Like, no, I'm telling you. And they don't know I'm into crypto. I'm like, where are you getting this? From TikTok. I was like, oh my, this is real?
It's strange times, I'll say that.
Yes.
But that's okay. It's just shows us that we're still early. There's still a lot of room to mature as an industry. And it's good to see, the younger generation at least engaging with it, even if they're engaging with it in a way that we wouldn't, or maybe we don't even agree with. But it's a start, and we'll start to see that change over time as more long-term projects start to deliver on the things that they've been building. I don't really have necessarily, this exit strategy for Divi. I didn't get into it thinking like, oh, I'll just build a wallet and sell it, or I'll build this and that and try to offload it on somebody. Because I want to see it through. I want to see crypto utilized in the way that I envisioned it to be utilized, and help people across the whole world with this global financial system that is decentralized, that's not controlled by centralities, et cetera. So yeah, I don't necessarily have an exit strategy. And if somebody offered to buy it right now, I wouldn't sell it.
So, and again, when you all say like, making crypto easy, I'm assuming one of the main things which I saw was like the addresses, right? You all able to import context and use that instead of an actual Bitcoin address. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So in our mobile wallet, you can literally just search the person's username. If you know their phone number, you could search that. None of this is public on their profile or anything. You would have to know it. They would have to also make it searchable. Just want to clarify that. I know people get crazy about privacy, and we're very, very focused on that as well. So yeah, if you know the person's username, email, or phone number, you can just search them up, and their picture will come up just like if you were on Venmo or PayPal or whatever. So should be a very standard feature, I think. I feel like every wallet should have that. But implementing it across all the coins was really important to us. So you can send your ETH, your LTC, your Divi, your Bitcoin, of course, all with a username. And the more coins we add, it'll work the same way.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could do it with everything. So is that patent technology as well, or is that just something everyone could possibly have, or just some reason don't?
Theoretically, they could do it. I'll be honest, making a searchable address system connected to usernames without exposing anybody's privacy, it took a while to figure that out. So I can understand. Again, there's a lot of companies are just making the sacrifice of convenience over quality, or convenience over decentralization. It can be convenient and decentralized. It just takes longer to develop.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Druckenmiller is back in the news. Druckenmiller, Ethereum is MySpace before Facebook, while Bitcoin won as Google. It looks like those with skin in the game are reiterating that comparing Bitcoin to Ethereum is a pointless and potentially costly exercise. Stanley Druckenmiller, again, he's been in and out the news many times as he starts to talk more about cryptocurrency. Of course, everyone wants to steal the narrative. This time, though, everyone is trying to figure out if this flipping is actually real, and if so, what is going to happen with it. Again, the argument is far from new, as it says here. Let me pull up this story. It has regularly appeared throughout Ethereum's existence. The Ethereum network's recent major upgrade has kept its profile afloat, and Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin over the past year and formed the backbone of the decentralized finance phenomenon. Now, the one thing I had to add to this story when it says it's outperformed Bitcoin, because I didn't check the numbers before the show started, but if it has outperformed Bitcoin at its current price or at its all-time high, because again, I saw Cointelegraph last week also put an article out there saying that Bitcoin is only like up 3% since January or something when it was at its low recently. So it's just like, come on, they're playing the game back and forth. We know it. But here we're talking about Druckenmiller again. As you can see, this one tweet here, the only flipping that will happen this year is a burger. People aren't believing it. But in an interview with The Hustle last week, billionaire investor Stanley Druckenmiller became the latest non-technical figure. There we go, Cointelegraph. Call out the truth for what it is. The latest non-technical figure. For those who don't know what that means a person who does not actually understand what's going on under the hood, just looking at the paint job, talking about it, to cast aside doubts about Bitcoin's staying power. I think Bitcoin has won the store of value game because it's a brand. It's been around for 13 to 14 years and has a finite supply, he said. Is it going to be gold? I don't know. It's sure as hell doing a good imitation of it the last year or two. For Druckenmiller, however, Ethereum is to Bitcoin what MySpace is to Google. I'm a little bit more skeptical of whether it can hold its position. It reminds me a little of MySpace before Facebook, he continued. Or better analogy is Yahoo before Google came along. Google wasn't that much faster than Yahoo, but it didn't need to be. All it needed to be was a little bit faster, and the rest is history. So, again, this whole talk is about if Ethereum will actually flip Bitcoin. In the short term, I definitely don't see it happening still, people. The only way I can see it ever honestly happening is if every corporation around the world literally is ganged up on Bitcoin. It was like, you know what? We really are going to go to Ethereum and try to make this work. But then you have a Russian child and a Russian headmaster in charge of that project. Just kidding, Vitalik. You know we love you over here. But seriously, I don't know. It's crazy to see that this is even a conversation now. But I think what people get most excited about when you talk about Ethereum possibly flipping Bitcoin is the fact that they look at other projects saying, well, hey, if Ethereum can flip Bitcoin, people are already talking about Cardano being an Ethereum killer, Solana, or whatever other Ethereum killers are out there, the Uniswaps, the Sushi swaps, all this other stuff. People are already talking about all these different projects or these DeFi projects as well. But the case is, I think people are making that if Ethereum can flip Bitcoin, then possibly one day Ethereum can be flipped too. And it goes on to the whole narrative of this is the next best Bitcoin you can buy for your money. But I don't know. This is just me. What are your thoughts on this one, Nick?
You know, it's funny. I feel like this conversation comes up every bull run at some point. It's,
right.
it's actually, there's a lot of conversations that seem to be cyclical when it comes to the bull run. But at any rate, they're different things. It's two completely different things. I mean, Ethereum is a development platform, the most utilized in the space, and Bitcoin is a cash system or a store of value, digital gold. If Ethereum were to flip in Bitcoin, would it make Bitcoin obsolete? Absolutely not. It would just mean that its market cap was higher. And I feel like that's the problem with crypto a lot of the times is this focus on price versus performance. And I'm not talking about price performance, but actual, like, what does this blockchain do? Because if that were the conversation, that article would have gone a lot differently, right? As far as it being the MySpace to, what was it? The Ethereum is the MySpace to Bitcoin.
He kind of had me confused on it too. That's why I didn't want to call him out too much because I'm just like, all right, he's kind of rambling on trying to make that headline, right? I felt it.
I guess you're right. Exactly. It's a grabby headline. Now, I can understand what he's maybe alluding to, that Ethereum is kind of a precursor to a lot of the other development frameworks, but Bitcoin's also the precursor to a lot of transactional coins, right? That said, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Ethereum is an incredible project, and so is Bitcoin. It's just a matter of, honestly, it's a matter of which one you need to use at any given time. You just mentioned a few projects that were built on Ethereum, right? Uniswap, Sushi Swap, all of these things that are being heavily utilized by traders throughout the space. I mean, you can't deny the effectiveness and usefulness of Ethereum. If Cardano delivers on their promises, it definitely has a shot. So does Polkadot. So does Casper Labs. So do all of these. I mean, EOS at one point was supposed to be the Ethereum killer. It never happened.
EOS was smoking one point.
It was killing it. Every conference, you might as well just call it an EOS conference because every project that got on stage was an EOS project. Right. But that petered out. They stopped funding development of new projects basically on that chain. And I don't know even what's going on right now. Honestly, I stopped paying attention to it. Ethereum seems to me like it's here to stay, even if it is kind of bogged down by, transactional problems with when it comes to the fees and things like that at scale. They'll eventually fix that with ETH 2.0. Eventually they'll have staking rolled out, which I'm super excited for. Will it flip Bitcoin? Maybe, but it just doesn't matter. They'll both exist.
I think we have a great clip for your quote here for the show today. I can't get it all in my head, but you had just said it about. So Antonio, if you're listening, it was within the last 2 minutes. You said something about people looking at price instead of the actual project. I love what you said. We always talk about that on this channel, where it's just like, we talk price, we talk altcoins more or less to indulge, but also it's just like people. We always say it like, look. 6 months ago at this point, really look 3 days ago, the top 10 just changed that quick. So I do like how you said the price is also, the market dominance is also a reflection of the market cap. Who's using it more doesn't mean it's actually more valuable. So good points. And Jams, what's going on? Jams, Jess, and Jams is a Hexakin that's in here. But he said, Ron uses tags. I like it, like sending money to a username versus a cryptic address. So he's definitely a good person to give his 2 cents. So that's what's up, Jams. Thank you for that. Let's see. Melaconlin Network. Nick is a great leader. So happy to be a part of the Divi community. Divi changed my life. There we go. What's going on, Pen 87? Good morning. Great interview. I see we starting June off right. Hey, listen, this is what we're doing. We're reviewing projects. We're talking projects. This is your opportunity to ask questions to one of the co-founders live. And he can give it to you straight from the horse's mouth. There we go. Cassie's saying, by being patient, we will all benefit greatly. Listen to the wise and not the lame that just believes in a flawed monetary system. Right. So, when it comes to Divi, okay, we know the staking part's coming out next. In the short term, what are some other things that you're unrolling? Is just the full focus on the staking part of the app, or do you have other things coming out as well?
The biggest, I think, thing that we're working on right now, and also one of the more challenging from like a fundamental level, less so a technical level, is the fiat implementation.
So you are going to do that?
We are. So you'll be able to on and off ramp into crypto, as well as swap within the wallet, and even have a bank account right within your device, right within your wallet. I'm sorry.
You've opened up a Pandora's box of questions, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. This is why it's really difficult, though. Most of the partners that we're working with, they're not used to working with non-custodial crypto apps. Most of the apps that they are working on implementations with are basically exchanges. They custodialize funds. It makes it easy to swap in the background and all those things, right? We told them that that's not going to work for us. We have to keep the crypto in the user's hands at all times. They're not opposed to it, of course, but it has made it really, really difficult to negotiate and get the implementation to a point where it all legally makes sense. That said, I'm really excited about these features because it really rounds out the whole ecosystem and allows people to, I always say, delete their finance folder and just use Divi. That's my goal, at least, but we're working toward it.
Okay, so like I said, Pandora's box of questions for you. I'm glad I got you. All right, first question. So I'm glad you mentioned how difficult it is to balance that, because that would have if you didn't mention that, it would have been like a red flag. So you mentioned it. How does that actually work? You guys are focused on staying. Are you 100% decentralized right now? Or is it something you're working toward?
It's 100% decentralized right now.
So you're 100% decentralized. Of course, that's going to cause issues with KYC, AML once you bring the fiat portion. So how will that be done?
Basically, if you engage with any of the fiat features, you will have to ultimately go through a KYC,
but if you don't
AML
engage,
process.
It's the regular simple wallet.
That's right. You can totally ignore those features if you just want to use it as a crypto wallet. 100%.
And
Unless they change the law on us again, but I don't think that's going to happen
oh,
anytime
believe me, I
soon.
already know. Another good question. So, why should I? Hardick is asking, why should I prefer Divi over Exodus or any other wallet for that matter?
It's that's a great question. We've done a lot of analysis against our competitor wallets. Exodus is one of the actual better ones. It really comes down to what you want to do with your crypto. With us, you do have the ability to earn with masternodes and staking. So that's why a lot of people initially come to us. Ultimately, when you're able to use it as a fiat wallet as well, and you're able to, transmit money in that way, I think that could be a really attractive feature. And of course, the wallet space is competitive, relatively saturated, although a lot of the entries are kind of lackluster. Ultimately,
It's semi-saturated, but no, I'll give it to you. Not really. And then for even, I would say with Exodus, I'm sure they just use that as an example because it is a built one. But don't forget, folks, Exodus is about to go public. So to me, that's dead in the water. Which is why I asked you all, because I am starting to see. We just had another one on here recently. Morph. Theirs is pretty good, but they're kind of focused on wallet and the decentralized finance space more than just crypto itself. So we are starting to see more competitors, but I would still say only about 5 to 10 wallets that would be actual competitors. So to me, it's still not like a oversaturated market by any means. But I would say the positive too, people, is the same way you use different exchanges. I mean, I use about 9 different exchanges, honestly, like anywhere between 6 to 9 different exchanges. Same with wallets. I have a ton of wallets on my phone. So I would say when it comes to wallets, especially mobile wallets or desktop wallets, it's not a one size fit all approach. Like, you could leave just your Divi assets on this wallet and stake those, or you could leave other assets, whatever you like. If you're one of those people, again, once they get this wallet all the way out and rolling to the point it is crypto made easy, this might be another reason to use it, because that is something that other wallets don't have at the moment. Right now, you got to put in that QR code, or you got to type that address out or copy and paste it. So that is definitely for the birds these days.
Yeah, it's so old school, but yeah, like you said, there's no real, I call it like a closed loop ecosystem, or a fully well-rounded ecosystem that allows you to hopefully use less than 9 exchanges or less than 10 wallets. If you look at any technological revolution or any technological ramp up, whether it be internet, industrial revolution, whatever, it starts with a ton of companies trying to vie for market share. And then you start to see consolidation, like we've seen with the internet, where there's now just like a few huge companies. I think we'll see something similar in crypto, but instead of, maybe companies will consolidate, but I think features will begin to consolidate. And that's kind of what we're trying to participate in.
Yeah, that's the thing right now too. I know some of I won't even say popular, but some of the wallets that have been around that, like you kind of mentioned, they aren't adding any new features, which to me was like, it's been kind of interesting. I like some of them because I'm like, all right, I know this is just a bare bones, you might only get Bitcoin and Ethereum on here, but also I like some of the ones like yours that have all the features. Like I said, a couple others we just recently covered. And listen, folks, all right, I get what you're saying. Someone said Exodus is not dead. To me, if you're going public, you're dead, because if you're public, you have to open up all those. They can open up all the data. Like it is no longer in the hands of just a private wallet. Once you go public, what do they call them? I can't even think of the name right now because I've been off the traditional market for so long. But shareholders is where I'm looking. Shareholders can request everything from the project, folks, and they have made it clear they're going public. I think that's one of the reasons why they've made it clear and been announcing it for so long, so people would know, hey, if you don't know what going public means, you better learn about it, or you're going to find out here soon. All right. So to me, they are dead. But yeah, they still have some good features. I'm not saying you have to move all your money off it, but I'm just saying, as far as leaving a grand amount of your crypto on it, I would be leery about that. Wendy, thank you for the tip. Please be patient. Newbie question here. What broker is best with using the MT5 platform? How does Divi factor in with MT5 trading, or does it? Help me understand.
I don't know about MT5. Are you familiar with that? If you open my eyes to it, I'm happy to answer. No, I guess we're not integrated with that. I would love to learn more about it though.
I thought it was something specific to Divi.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Let's
MT5.
see. Oh, MetaTrader 5 trading platform for Forex stocks and futures. Are you all doing
Oh,
anything with that?
we're not necessarily looking at traditional assets yet. We have talked about doing like synthetic trading in the future, but it's just not a focus for 2021.
Okay. And with that, we're getting some DeFi questions. Are you all going to add any, Kevin is asking, you're going to implement any DEXs at some point?
Yeah, so one of the things we're working on is decentralized swapping. It's being worked on at the protocol level right now, so you probably won't see it in the wallet for a little while. We'll have regular swapping, similar to like a Changely or a Shapeshift kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we want to get to the point where you can do atomic swaps and decentralized swaps in the wallet. I like a lot of the stuff that's going on Ethereum. I think it's really interesting. I think Uniswap works really well and it's really simple. So something like that could roll out as well. But again, it's just, step by step.
Yeah, that would take some time for sure. All right, let me get back into these questions. Divi's gas fees. How are your gas fees?
So we use a fee structure that is actually based on the size of the transaction and caps off at 100. Although as the prices started to go up, we're talking about lowering that cap. We also burn all the fees, so they're just burned in transmission. So that helps with inflation, of course. But yeah, the most you'll ever pay is 100 divvy, but usually it's like 0.01 divvy.
Nice. And one of the last little speed round, I just hit you with out the blue. Tax questions. Are you gonna have any tax in-app things, taxable transaction tracking? Why do you all, come on, Jake? Why y'all come on this channel and spread that noise? You don't like those words around here. Makes me itch. Gives me the hives. But what's going on with that T word?
It's a scary topic, but it's still an important one, right? And it is something that we have some focus on. Now, because it is a decentralized wallet, we don't have to issue you, a 1099 or any of those things, but we will provide, and actually right now in both wallets, you can just export your CSV or your Excel file of all your transactions. We're talking to a couple different companies right now about doing a tax integration so that you can actually get reports that show you exactly how much things were at the time you made the transaction or at the time you earned your rewards or whatever. But it's an option. It's not something that we're going to how Coinbase sends you I haven't used Coinbase in years, but presumably they would send you a 1099 if you spent over a certain amount or bought it over a certain amount. We don't have to do that, but we will send you the information if you want it and you want to take that responsibility on yourself.
In hindsight, as much as we trash Coinbase, I might need to actually give them a hand clap. They might have been kicking people off their platform who are buying crypto at a certain point to help. They're like, no, we're trying to tell you to get away. And we're not letting you buy no more crypto here because you can't buy it here. Maybe that's what Coinbase is doing the whole time. Oh, Brian was trying to tell us something without telling us something. He was like, look, right. This ain't the platform for your type, all right? This is for people with pennies.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of Coinbases and exchanges and the like, have to ask, and you mentioned it too when it came to Japan, are you everyone wants to list it. Where are you getting listed at? How is that working? Are you guys even trying to do it? Are you just building the project? What is Divi's thoughts on getting them listed on different exchanges?
It's important to us because it's important to our community. And it also exposes a lot of people to the project anytime that you get listed. Actually, just on Friday, we were listed on KuCoin, and that's a big listing for us. It's top 5 exchange in the world. It's the biggest exchange that we've been able to list on. It's a big deal for me, especially, and for the team, because we didn't raise a ton of money in our ICO. A lot of projects were raising $50 million. We raised like $2 million. And so we had to build the business like a normal business. And so the fact that we were able to make the investment in KuCoin based on our own revenue, building the business organically, that meant a lot to me and the team. And so we're very proud of that. But no, it's not the end for us as far as exchanges are concerned. We always have our eyes set on the next big exchange. Of course, there's only a few bigger exchanges than KuCoin now. But yeah, it's something that we always work toward.
Is it still as tough to get listed on some of these exchanges? Is still the politics going on in the background?
It can be difficult to get a connection. We've been in the space now almost 4 years, so we have a pretty good network of people that help us get the right people, points of contact at these exchanges. But that said, like the huge ones are still pretty much a walled garden.
They're still playing that game, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And
Millie,
there's a high barrier to
Millie,
entry.
Millie, Millie.
Yeah. But if you can build the project to a certain point, that I mean, you see like Shiba Inu and stuff like that got listed just because they went into the top 50.
Right.
So if you can get high enough on coin market cap, a lot of times these exchanges will just pull you in because they know that there's a huge amount of eyes on you. But you really want to have a good relationship with the operators of the exchange, because when you have updates to your blockchain or you have any issues or anything like that, you want to have a good point of contact. So it's important that you don't just like try to throw money at it, but actually create a relationship with those operators.
Nice. Yeah, that is the right way to do it. Just as a quick aside, listen, Nicholas Canada, feel free to call in on Friday and tell me why I'm wrong about this. I just started last night, so I must be wrong about a company going public and having to reveal everything to shareholders. But call in Friday and tell me how I got that one wrong. I would love Gems. Don't tell him. I would love for him to call in live. We can talk about it. Keep playing with Exodus if you want to. In fact, put all your crypto on Exodus. Don't say nothing to me when the day comes, when they come knocking. All right. With that, I guess random questions for you. Random crypto questions in this space. Besides DIVI, what's your favorite project?
Damn, that's a good one. I'm really. Can I give you more than one?
Yeah, for sure. No, go ahead. Go crazy.
I'm really excited about Casper Labs. They had a rough.
Actually asked about Casper Labs in relation to DIVI in this
oh, did they?
box. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really bullish on them. I interviewed their CTO a few months back for our podcast, but I've been following the project for like 2 years as well. Ever since I met one of the project leads at Crypto Invest Summit in LA, actually. And I was really intrigued because it does exactly basically what Ethereum 2.0 does. It's written in a more modern language. It has a really great scope for developing new projects on top of it. Of course, they're going to have to garner the attention of developers in order to compete with Ethereum, but really promising there. I also like, it used to be called Enigma, but now it's called Secret, which allows for privatized smart contracts, which I've always thought was a really necessary step forward for smart contracts. Because as you know, right now, everything's public, but in commerce, in traditional business, you don't necessarily want all your contracts to be public. So I always thought, having private and secure contracts like that would be really interesting. And they just implemented a staking protocol not long ago that is paying out pretty well. Those are probably my top two at the moment.
That's going to get crazy when they get privatized contracts that are executable like that. I mean, yeah, you're talking about next level. Again, we always say it, it's the regulators are trying to hold the water in their hands. Like, you don't even understand what's going to happen. Like, everybody's still developing. Like, new ideas are coming out. So
yeah, there's no way they can keep up.
Yeah, those are really two good projects actually to look at for sure. Casper Labs has been making a lot of noise, like you said, but it's just about getting more people migrated. I almost feel like when it comes to Ethereum with some of the developers, it's almost first is one of those stamps of approval. Like, yeah, I developed for Ethereum, or I made a dApp on Ethereum, or I'm a coder for Bitcoin. I think it's one of those stamps. And then there's also the whole community aspect of people like, oh, you're leaving and going to build somewhere else. It's like yes, there are many projects in this ecosystem. Like, you don't have to just stay at one the entire time, but for sure.
It's right, also, Nick. I think, sorry to cut you off, but
go ahead.
I think we will start to see more interoperable smart contracts. I mean, obviously BSC is basically a copy and paste of Ethereum, but you see a lot of the smart contracts work on both, right? So I think we'll start to see that as well. I just wanted to throw that in.
No, for sure. And I was going to say, last thoughts, last messages you definitely want to get out there for the DIVI project?
Well, of course, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to us on Telegram or Discord. It's at DIVI Project. On Telegram, actually, all our social media is just at DIVI Project. We're always happy to answer questions, field hatred, whatever you guys want to throw our way. We're there to help.
They are active on the Telegram, people. I'll give them that. They are super active in there.
Yeah, definitely. Download the new wallet. It's on the App Store as well as the Play Store right now in the United States and Canada, and it'll be rolling out to the wider world very, very soon. And yeah, I mean, just come engage with our community. We've built a really, really welcoming community that we want as many people in as humanly possible.
And like I said, that Divi phone app, it is clean, crisp. I like it so far. I know you guys are unrolling features. Like I said, I can't wait for the staking part. I am going to try the staking feature in the app just to see how it works in the app and test it out and everything. But yeah,
Awesome.
can't wait to see what else you all enroll. And I guess we'll be having you back on here hopefully sooner rather than later to give us some more updates. I see people in the chat already shilling Divi. So they're shilling it like crazy for you. So we'll see, Vice. We will see where it goes. But again, this is Nick from the Divi Project, co-founder and CIO. Nick, thanks again for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, King. And I can't thank you enough, by the way, for the review. It was one of the best reviews I've seen of the project, and it was incredibly honest and straightforward. So I just appreciate the work that you're doing.
No, I appreciate it. You know, and to let everyone know too, yeah, after that review, you know, your team, got in touch with myself. We got on a Zoom call and, Nick was kind enough to sit down like, all right, what are some of the things you like about the project? What don't you like? What are some holes you can see we can work on? I mean, after about 10 minutes, folks, I was like, all right, Nick, I'm gonna send you an invoice here in a moment. But seriously, I did like that a co-founder of now becoming a relatively bigger project out there take the time out to say, all right, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What we can work on to have that type of visibility. You all know I love that, especially coming from 2017, where some of the ICO members on the ICO page like literally were fake avatars or stolen pictures with fake names. So now it's 2021, the market's maturing. We actually grab people and talk to people. So great to see that. And again, we'll be watching the Divi project, Nick. Now you literally have a couple thousand more eyes on you figuring out what's going to happen next. So we're all excited to see.
Appreciate it, man.
Hey, thanks again for your time. And yeah, shout out to the Divi project. Can't wait to see what's happening next. And of course, you all can catch us tomorrow with some more crypto news at 10-ish Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Cheers and have a great one.